know that this church has been the center of your life and your children's.
Yes, it has.
And that you have many wonderful stories and testimonies to tell. So would you like to share with us?
I'd be happy to. We came to Pensacola in 1981. We had been stationed in Japan for 5 years, and Ken was transferred to Corey Station for his Twilight tour. The girls were Beth, 4 years old, and Kathy, 18 months. I was looking for, it was right before Christmas, so I was looking for a church that celebrated Advent, which was harder in the South than I expected. And I was at the post office when it was the old post office across the street and spotted this church and came over and decided to visit it that Sunday. Ken was not involved in church at that time, but as time progressed, I was asked to join the Lifestyle Sunday School class, which was a shock because I'd always taught Sunday school. I didn't know grown-ups ever went to Sunday school. Up north, we didn't have adult Sunday school classes. So I became part of that group, which has been the church family that is more like real family to me all these years. And so we started attending, and Ken would come to socials occasionally. And then David Warren was our first associate pastor, and David started a softball team. Well, Ken loved sports, so he asked Ken to play softball, which he did and enjoyed it, and from that, David led him to a class for new Christians about the Methodist Church, which led him to join, which led him to participate, finance committee, president of lifestyle class, and his favorite, which was riding around on the lawnmower, taking care of the grounds when Mr. Garrett retired.
We were grateful.
So he loved doing that much more than sitting in a meeting. I was blessed to be part of evening Bible studies when we had them. Of course, the choir, Randy White had pulled me into the choir first off when the girls were little, and then I thoroughly enjoyed being part of the worship committee for Pastor Bruce Sheffield. He asked me if I would be the chairman because they lost their chairman in the middle of her term. So I ended up 4.5 years, which included the expansion of this sanctuary. So that was a big project that we had on our plate, but wonderful, wonderful committee of hard workers. Our dear Marge Bird went to Asbury to be a diaconal minister, came back and was promoting small groups. I told her I didn't have time for a small group with my full-time teaching job and evening responsibilities at school, and she said, well, then I'll start one at 6 o'clock in the morning. She called my bluff. I couldn't say no. So that started a group with her and 4 other ladies. All of us worked and had to leave at 7 o'clock to be at work, so we'd meet here on Fridays at 6 with Marge, and gradually she just turned it over to us so she could not have to be out at the crack of dawn when she didn't need to be, but that was a huge blessing. I learned so much through our pastors and the lessons in our Sunday school class that helped me to be a better teacher, because I was teaching at East Hill Christian School, and Christian education was never something I expected to do as a teacher, and I had to incorporate Bible into every lesson, every day, every subject. And so what I learned here transferred into my children's experiences at school. One of the high points I think we had at Myrtle Grove was when Pastor Bruce decided to do the Purpose-Driven Life study. And we all had small groups that we were assigning. Ken and I led one here at the church. Met a lot of people who we'd never met before, which was a real blessing. And the church as a whole did the lessons in Sunday school and then on Sundays as well. My girls grew up in this church, for which I'm eternally grateful. They loved Sunday school. They did vacation Bible school every summer. They went off to camp. Crosswinds Choir was one of their highlights, along with the high school youth group with Carl Rogers. And we even got to chaperone a choir tour to Houston. The girls were not happy about that. They didn't want mom and dad around. So they gave us junior high groups, and then the girls were in senior high. But that was a wonderful experience.
Who was the director of that?
Susan Ferris.
Susan.
And we just had a marvelous time preaching and through music to all the different churches between here and Texas and back again. So that was a highlight as well. Since I've retired from teaching, I've expanded into prayer shawl ministry because Rose Blank taught me how to crochet. And then I also have been active in a Thursday morning Bible study with a group of ladies who've been meeting here for years, but I couldn't participate because of my job. And then God kind of called through the Experiencing God study that it was time for another circle to be formed. And Patty Kane, as president of UMW, said she thought it should be a mission circle and asked if I would start it up. So out of that plan came the Sisters in Service, which uses quite a bit of our talent and work and the support of this church for that group, working with the homeless and helping at Ronald House. And we are going to Washburn on Saturday, actually, to take clothes and food and toiletries. And we get blessed, I think, so much more than the people we serve. But that has been a wonderful experience. So this church has become my extended family because my kids don't live here and my extended family doesn't either. So I don't know what I would do. That's the best thing I think Myrtle Grove offers is friendships that are lifelong and totally just there for you through the good and the bad and everything in between.
And you still teach?
I teach lifestyle class periodically, and I taught VBS last weekend. I love getting into my costume and being the storyteller. And of course choir. I was in that all along and love being an alto with our various choir directors that we have had. So working with Jamie now and all the people that we have in the adult choir has been a real blessing as well. So
Thank you
I
so
love it
much,
here.
Carol.
You're very welcome. Thank you.